the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
William Atuguba JSC Nsem-Pii de betudwa ene ne de Ghana obi a che na dwen e de omonso no nim de etudwa de fa ho na ene Bernard Allotey Jacobs ena Kwamena Duncan e de nsem bia betudwa epusu nkofo yie pa ma nkofo ya kam yese nti wenti na William Atuguba JSC e de sansem bia betudwa speaking against court on no ankasa aye adwuma ho pen na se bench on no ankasa atena so da and obviously no ankasa ne former colleagues some judgment bi o ma make in the sense that he spoke during his public lecture. No? And on Allotey Jacobs say to him, he thinks Justice William Atuguba wants to become the running mate for the opposition leader, Kwamena. And inti, and our this handsome no there or the Tudra. Now Allotey Ichirun say Kwamena enya running mate. He's still looking through a host of candidates. So I say, Obi are interested, be a person take advantage. Now onye bibi, na ye notice no. So the way a bit me consider no. And Allotey feels that is why Atuguba JSC is making such statements. I don't know if you say in Kwamena Duncan on the other hand say he sees it say extraterritorial NDC agenda. More or less he is confirming what Allotey Jacobs is saying. Say William Atuguba JSC Nsem-Pii on the abetudwa no kofobi and a tiny chia or motion good to and specifically they are making references to the NDC. We are going to in some more editudwa.
Don't know whether they have that kind of association or organization. Maybe Adia was it for in John yet, and Jedemu was it for her, Joey. And this is Yalababa out, maybe someone there. Atuguba and Obeda running mate to the leading opposition flag bearer.
I didn't see.
Some or the Babani on the American wants me. Because this is Yaga there. From the opposition side in Obiari Yamobutuma Bitra Yamado, Obisu Jinakado, Obisu Nama, just there. A Binusu demonstration or some walk up in support of Osimesi and then Asimeshi. Nina is for the opposition flag bearer to choose one of them as a running mate. And Atuguba no so or be bine why and running mate. Because this is very controversial. Very, very controversial. In Jemu Mbaka ma beye a public news. In Janu the lecture students be students of law able to market the Mazimi as actual one. So that it became a hearsay there opinion ora Atuguba obey here lectures in dam no okay. But not coming straight on the issue. And see kakra there of late things coming from the academia. Last week last 2 weeks or so. Kwame be some question. I said, look, there are certain things coming from the academia people will respect in this country, people who have held higher positions in this country. They are becoming one hour text message boy, they are becoming serial callers. That's precisely what they are doing. We also there a government or concubines. Concubines here one who work in Solomon or ruling for so many years. Who name is oh, you want to watch your concubines and I want to watch your King Solomon Namutazi or one of go what dressing Nina just to embolden King Solomon there, yes. Mazumi a king. Oh Mama J. There this coming from knowledgeable people. To them are Professor Adai Mogeke. Without we going Ghana if this is ya dem you Obino watch your one Ghana then. Yeah, serious. It's very serious when certain sensational issues now you have most prominent people wading into it. Let me say, Kwame Nkrumah Ghana mozi je Maybe Magana Moabe Yeni in the 21st century. Yeni me there. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia digitalization abe. Nje nurse is here attention here IT nyama huma ya research to them Professor Sapo Oye imo obi amado abum no about public obi amado abum. I don't know whether that gives them that leverage or that popularity, but there are also people who we have known in this country.
Nana this whole thing Atuguba GSC Nsem-Pii or extraterritorial NDC agenda.
RNG.
I will tell you.
Tell me. Me pese me tie nti ka kire me.
Say mama that one there or extraterritorial NDC agenda.
Matura to nti faso. Now prove me.
Now some more can or there may be
more hanging.
one about critiquing the decision of the Supreme Court on the education. That's one. The other one, says okwa retirement. When we there, appointment of justices, for them to have the real independence. Those are his words.
Yes,
real independence. Those appointments must be done by
a body
very independent.
Yeah, ma'am.
Independent body. As Mamiche. Based on protocol,
judicial council,
political,
president,
on those lines.
In fact, for the avoidance of doubt,
quote for us:
appointments to the judiciary or any other governance institution must be made by thoroughly independent bodies based on nothing but merit and not on things like protocol, chronism, ethnicity, or other improper considerations.
Nana ya nje wama atuguba onsanu nombre bio na shasi go law school na onge judge na yenye independent body. That's what he wants to tell us.
The governance institutions particularly must be particularly the judiciary must be realistically insulated.
And not by appointment.
Must be realistically insulated against presidential and other political pressures. Service conditions must be reasonably attractive, and security of tenure of office must be enshrined. The executive powers of the president and his functionaries must be drastically curtailed. There must be a real separation of parliament from the executive branch. The emphasis should be on good and sincere governance in the interest of the people and not on hollow, over-exaggerated notions of electoral conferment of power on anybody or a group of people.
Wow.
But no meaningful political reforms can be reasonably expected even under a regime change without sustaining the political renaissance which has started and is growing well in Ghana.
Nana say extraterritorial NDC agenda. Justice Atuguba is able to see this only after exiting the judiciary. Sir Oritema, Justice Atuguba, the question I am posing is that the real independence and the real separation of powers and the security of tenure of judges. You are seeing this only after leaving the Supreme Court, that whilst you were in active service, you didn't see those. And who tells you that if you saw them whilst in active service, you couldn't have said them? And is that the two one? Today, Professor from Pomboatin. When I am a member of government, all is well. As a major, when I am out, in the last 2.5 years or so, it is the worst government we have ever had because I'm not part. Now, in order that I don't lose the major legs that I've set down, Messi, now summon Mozi kind Jaji question judgment obey. Second one, appointment of judges. As a mature. The third one, he called for commendations, certain bodies and individuals. Na session one, bodies and individuals now less one now or bon habado. Or why win one? You should not be left in doubt that this is extraterritorial NDC agenda. Mamamfa Jachi question.
Okay, over Jachi question, but just a second.
Okay.
Just a second. I don't gas me trow. He added, it should be noticed. Okay, Tio. He added, it should be noticed that his certificate of citizenship is tied to an oath of allegiance. The two move together. It is difficult to think that Jachi Kwesi, who submitted his renunciation of citizenship papers to Canada in 2019, could still, in December 2020, be held as seriously owing allegiance as a matter of hard realism as opposed to formalism to Canada. Justice Atuguba expressed concern over independence and impartiality of the judiciary and questioned why the Constitution empowered the President to appoint 4 representatives of the Judicial Council aside the Attorney General. Executive powers of the President and functionalities must be curtailed, he said.
Nana?
Angle.
First point in there, hard realism as opposed to formalism.
Yeah, man.
That's where he's placing his emphasis. And that the hard realism only there before the elections, which was 26 November, the man had received his certificate.
Or he had written.
He got the certificate
before, yeah.
That's 26 November.
Yeah.
But Constitution, baby ma, oche, yeah, opening of nominations. When in the eligibility criteria.
Opening of nomination at the Electoral Commission.
And the China Electoral Commission.
And when the party nominations.
No. I mean, you was in charge on completely irrelevant here, because there are national matter and national elections. And see on your party level. And see hard realism against formalism. Nana, he was part of the decision in the Republic and the High Court General Jurisdiction ex parte Dr. Esnato Rollins interested party ni ama ashite. Mosi there party ko primaries no wukayi oye Dr. Zenato abia wo yinin ina oye registered voter na na so meche oye registered voter na impa no oye member of parliament ye ni ama ashite into other primaries olusi into olusi what to happen we no court nso kada court there per arrangement over there oye impa we yinin oye registered voter nti oye registered voter nti oye disqualified nti court dam abana woto en ombongu high court before abaka asaman Zenato ne counsel ne lawyer kada the matter was premature in the high court won't say because its resolution had not been properly invoked because the matter was premature. High court bought Zenato ne judge lawyer na some torching na won Supreme Court. What cross Supreme Court nana there was one question which fell for determination. On there when can it be properly said that a Ghanaian citizen is by reason of non-registration as a voter not qualified? When not qualified to be a member of parliament within Article 94(1)(a) of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana? This decision was about a non-registered voter. Ma judge question the other question, I think 94(2) owing allegiance.
Allegiance, yeah.
Now there's an earlier decision here. Professor Gokwasari, Okro Court, Atuguba-Mahama so deliver them judgment. Or link allegiance to citizenship. The into Munka citizenship. A citizen does not owe allegiance. In fact, citizenship is bound with allegiance. Atuguba no turn the masamdo or deliver judgment on that matter. And see, citing those authorities, and even with this one, ma NDC, Dr. Zenato the Krokoti, even though on precisely the matter which was for determination, so precisely what the court determined, but court in Kabibi, Nana eligibility criterion, court in a year more do consequently, it is our view that the eligibility criteria set out in Article 94(1). Now, eligibility, even though 94(1), then you go to 94(2), those are criteria which have been set down. But Nana, you cannot say there it is applicable in, say, 94(1) and not applicable in 94(2). Or say, eligibility, the person must fulfill them in order to be eligible. And see, Benin JSC, consequently, it is our view that the eligibility criteria set out in Article 94(1)(a) come into force only when a public election of a member of parliament has been declared by the Electoral Commission and it has set the time to file nominations. Thus, a person who qualifies to enter parliament must be a Ghanaian citizen, of 21 years or beyond and a registered voter. As at the date he files his nomination papers within the time stipulated by the Electoral Commission for that particular election. That is the true intent of that article.
Nsem-Pii TV